Okay, if you saw my first Discomercial for Disco Hypnotic, you might be asking yourself, why the heck would I want to recall a heavy memory that contains pain? Well, because pain causes unconsciousness on various levels from slight to full. Do you ever step on a nail? You probably see a white flash as your groove flips for 2 unconscious seconds of pain. 2 seconds is not long enough for much data to record onto your B side, so this doesn't produce a very serious heavy memory. But if you step on a nail, there is a 2-second archived memory on your B side which contains the smell of lilacs, if that is what you are smelling. Surgery with anesthetic causes a more serious archived memory because the unconsciousness lasts longer and the data is recorded onto your B side so that the spoken words of your surgeon get fused to your pain. Illness can cause various levels of unconsciousness lasting for weeks or months. A rudimentary example of a heavy memory follows. You're at a hockey game. The stick smacks the puck and the puck hits you on the noggin. Down you go for 2 minutes, unconscious to the world and experiencing pain. When you come to, you can't remember 2 minutes of your life. The last thing you remember is a puck flying at you and then you wake up on the floor. When you try to recall the memory a year later, those 2 minutes still appear to be a blank space on your groove, as if there is nothing going on but numbness and silence for 2 whole minutes. But there isn't numbness and silence. You're in pain. The crowd is cheering. A man yells crap. You knock over someone's beer and it splashes on your face. A woman fans you with her program and says, "Stay put, I'm going to help you." Another man yells, "Hey buddy, are you okay?" All this data is recorded onto your B side. When you are unconscious, your discotheque records the data of the now as a memory onto your groove as it happens. Adjacent to your discotheque is a run-down, seedy, prehistoric joint called your irrational dive. When you go unconscious, before its lights go out, your discotheque flips your groove and your irrational dive records the data of the now onto your B side. What appears to be a blank space is left on your groove, where those 2 minutes should be. Your discotheque does have a somewhat weak emergency generator that kicks in, so your B-side data is recorded onto your groove as poop, but at extremely low volume. It is difficult to remember poop, but the poop is there. When you are unconscious, you are unable to entertain what you experience, so your poop is irrational when it is recorded. Unless you consciously recall the data of your poop, your discotheque never entertains it, and it remains irrational. This is a glitch that affects how smoothly you can disco. Your low-volume poop can control you like a poser, the same way a hypnotic suggestion controls you like a cheese eater. Your irrational dive never entertains what it records. Your dive is happy to serve you when you get kicked out of the fancy club next door, but it doesn't give a shit. It slaps on a label, winner, loser, friend, or foe, and then records the datum verbatim onto a scratched up platter that fuses poop to poop so that in the hockey puck scenario, the word crap is fused to the smell of beer, which is fused to the command "stay put," which is fused to the sound of cheering hockey fans, which is fused to pain, until all the poop of your heavy memory is assimilated into a highly authoritative gibberish called jive. From then on, if your discotheque were to define the word crap based on your B-side data, it might say crap is the taste of beer or some other irrational jive. Jive surfaces when you get irritated. You get irritated when sensory data in the now subconsciously reminds you of some unknown datum recorded onto your B-side. Your B-side poop is irrational, so when it surfaces, you become irrational. 20 years after being hit by the hockey puck, you will have no idea why the smell of beer makes you have to defecate because you don't know you have a heavy memory that says the smell of beer is fused to the word crap. You also won't be able to explain why you have no urge to advance in life. You stay put as your jive instructs, or why you get a headache while watching sports, because you are unaware that on the flip side of your groove there is an archived memory in which the sound of cheering sports fans is fused to pain. This example is deliberately simplified because the actual manifestation of jive is unpredictable and is based on many things, including chance encounters with irritators. One thing is for sure, the more archived memories you have, the more likely it is that your discotheque will be utterly screwed up, especially as you grow older and all the triggers cock and all the irritators start irritating. Blank spaces on your groove are the sources of your confusion, irritation, and irrationality. When your consciousness is at a lowered level in the now, even if you are just tired or emotionally upset, your irrational dive turns up its volume as your discotheque turns down its, and this confuses your DJ. If your DJ is confused and stumbles onto a blank space on your groove, your DJ listens to the gibberish of the IQ coming through the adjacent wall. What your DJ hears is jive, nonsensical mental equations involving verbal commands that lack context. Your discotheque tries to entertain the jive with no success. As a result, you become confused or irritated. But when a blank space on your groove is filled in by recalling your archived memory, your mental needle skims right over the IQ. When the blank space is filled in, your archived memory is no longer archived, but it has become grooved, and its jive no longer has any effect on your discotheque, now capable of entertaining the data. If you pump up the volume of your 8-tracks, you will recall your archived memories, and you will fill in the blank spaces on your groove. While playing the 7 mind games and taking the 100 mind trips in Disco Hypnotic, always think in terms of filling in the blanks. The object is to make your groove complete. By recalling your archived memories, you can get your grip. Recalling is not the same thing as remembering. If you are asked where you are last night at 9:30 p.m., you can either remember or you can recall. If you remember, you are completely in the now and you simply state a fact. I was in my crib. If you recall, you give the details. I'm in my favorite chair watching that 70s show. The room smells like microwave popcorn. The cat is resting between my feet, and it is fat and warm and soft. I can taste salt. I can hear a siren in the distance. In order to describe the details with such accuracy, you need to see your memory with your mind's eye. Take a few moments and use your mind's eye to recall where you are last night at 9:30 p.m. In order to use your mind's eye to play the data of your groove, your consciousness must be half in the now and half in your memory. The state of mind of being half in the now and half in your memory is called the state of immersion. When you are in the state of immersion, you are not simply remembering that an ambulance drove by. You can hear the siren in your discotheque. While in immersion, you are aware of the sounds happening in the now, and you are aware that the sound of the siren actually exists in the past. When you are in the state of immersion, you will be able to use all your senses to recall your memory so that it appears in your discotheque in vivid color with all sounds and smells and tastes and internal and external feelings as well. By reading the book Disco Hypnotic, you will learn to conjure the state of immersion. You will learn to conjure a deep state of immersion called a disconotic state. You will learn how to recall your archived memories, and you will learn how to fill in the blank spaces on your groove. Go to discohypnotic.com. It's pretty groovy, man.